On this week's show, how to build the perfect property power team.
In the news, the property market is booming despite Brexit looming.
And we're going to be answering all your property-related questions. Welcome to the Property Investors Podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an upload. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Enjoy this week's show and don't forget to share it with all your friends. Hi, I'm Russell Leeds.
I'm Alistair Cunningham.
And welcome to this week's Property Investors Podcast. We've got a brilliant show lined up. How have you been, my friend? Have you had a good week?
Yeah, it's been a pretty cool week. It's been very busy. Again, up and down to London, looking at... not offices now because we've got them secured, but looking at apartments, things like that.
Nice. Anything particularly fancy?
Yeah, there's a few places that I've found quite interesting. So, like one of the places I looked at's got concierge with an on-site gym, so I can help me lose a little bit of weight.
I can tell that you're a gym goer.
Yep.
What's your favourite machine?
The sauna.
That's not a machine.
It is. You press a button and it starts working.
The sauna? No, it's the
Oh,
jacuzzi.
Jacuzzi. You know what I mean.
Do you like the sauna?
Yeah, a bit hot though.
What's the point?
Right, how's your week been, man? How was the schools?
School's amazing. Yeah, I'm in that tying up now whether to go for state school or private school.
Ooh,
I know. I've never ever even considered private school before. But then in London, when you're looking at like every other school is a private school.
Yeah, there's lots of
where we're from, you just don't really get private schools.
No.
So it's but then looking at it, I mean, I'm a big believer in education. Obviously, we run an education company, and I'm sort of thinking it makes sense to put them in the best environment possible,
around the right people,
and all that sort of stuff. It's quite expensive though.
Is it? How much? It's normally like I used to live near Kimbolton Private School, it's a very good private school in Cambridgeshire. And that, I believe it was like £7,000 a term. It was a lot.
Yeah. The one I'm looking at is High March in Beaconsfield. Mm-hmm. So it will start, because Emily's only in nursery, so it's cheaper for her, about half the price. So it will start off, this year it will cost about 18 grand.
Just for her?
For the two.
Oh, for the two, okay.
But then next year that will go up to about 22.
It's a lot, isn't it?
And then by the time... But then when they're in year 1 in nursery at the moment. Mm-hmm. By the time they're in year 6, it'll be about 30 grand for the two. So it is expensive, but it's one of those, isn't it? It's one of those because when you look at the stats, it is better.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've never even considered it before. I've never even thought about it. It's just always been state. So it's just something I'm just weighing up really at the moment. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what you guys think is private. You know, do you send? I think there's not many people go to private school, I suppose, especially around here. But in London, it's a much bigger thing. Everyone does.
Yeah, there's a lot more. Well, there's a lot more money in London for a start, and people can afford to do it. Salaries are higher. Everyone's generally earning.
Would you ever consider it? Private school
for me?
No, not for you. You moron. Actually, it was quite funny. I went and Emily was having a trial. Emily was having a trial. Someone came up to me and said, "Are you here for the trial day?"
Yeah.
Right. And I was so tempted to get. I was just like, "Yeah," but I was so tempted to make some sort of sarcastic comment, like, "No, I'm not actually. She is, but I'm a little bit too." I don't know. I haven't thought about it, but I was tempted to.
I don't know if they would take your dry humour, to be honest.
What, in London?
No, in the States, in this private school. Like
No,
your
they're
humour
really
is sort
nice.
of your humour is it's sort of chalk and cheese. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, I love it or you hate it, and you have to warm to it. It's not just something you can't just throw out there. You have to tempt them in a little bit.
But I do just throw it out there.
That's the problem.
When I'm mixing new groups, I just throw it out there, and people are like,
Has he been like, the thing is, that's the thing, right?
They do.
Your humour is so dry that I never know if you're joking or if you're being serious. And I'm like, dude, are you being serious or is that a joke? And you're like, no, I'm being deadly serious. And I'm like, oh.
We went to a new church and we see a house group.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like 10 or so people around, and I'm like making all these, and people are just like, After a few weeks, they were like, "Oh, he's
joking.
He's joking." But at first, I was like, "Is he joking? Is he serious?"
I mean, some of the belters you've come out with before, I'm like, "Whoa, that's borderline." But anyway,
I think it's funny when people on that listen to the podcast, and then they comment and go, "Oh, why is Russell bullying Alistair?" I understand what they mean, but.
We're not bullying.
It's not bullying. It's just totally banter. But it's not for everyone, is it? But
no.
Anyway, on with the show. So,
interesting topic this week.
It is. I thought you meant schools. But yeah, this is interesting as well. How to build your perfect property power team.
Yeah, it's so important.
Well, first of all, let's say who we would include in a power team, right? So,
Michelangelo,
yeah.
I don't remember the rest of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Who are they all?
Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo, and
who's the last
Leonardo,
one?
Donatello, Raphael.
There's only 4. Right. Okay.
Splinter.
So who's that?
The rat.
Oh,
the sort of the master.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
You don't remember that?
Right. Okay.
Shredder,
so we need a solicitor.
Yep.
Need a builder.
Oh, I got an accountant next, but builder, yeah.
Mortgage broker. Letting agent.
Really?
Yeah.
It's part of your power team.
Yes. Why wouldn't you? Well, because fine. Because the idea of a power team is.
I suppose it depends what your power team's for. Well, but let's clarify that first. So, for example, if your power team, because I'll give you letting agent. I'm gonna give it you.
Look, the way we do it, we teach people to find an area and dominate that area. So let's just say you pick, I don't know, Blackburn, okay? So you go to Blackburn and you need a team in that area that are prepared to serve that area for you. So obviously mortgage broker and accountant can be anywhere in the country, and solicitor can be anywhere in the country, it doesn't matter. But in the area you're going to want a good letting agent,
I'm gonna give you
whether it be single lets HMO, and you're also going to want a good build team and a good handyman. That's the 3 main things you're going to want in that area. Do you know the quickest and easiest way to build a power team in an area? You only have to find one of them people,
and they'll know the others.
And then you've got the rest. Do you know what one it is?
Letting agent.
Yeah, letting agent. You find a good letting agent. So let's just go with HMO because that's what we do.
Before we do, is there anyone else? So solicitor, accountant, builder, mortgage broker, letting agent. Solicitor, accountant, builder, mortgage broker, letting agent. Anyone else?
No, I would say that's probably about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I would always have a handyman as well, but that could fall under the builder.
Yeah.
Like, because you want somebody that's not quite the same rate as a... Like, if you've just got, like, for instance, one of my HMOs, we just had to change, like, some light bulbs, and we just had to change a lampshade because it got broken, things like that. So I'm not going to pay a builder to go and do that when I can just pay a handyman 30 quid to go and do that. So I would always try and have, like, a handyman on hand.
You're my handyman.
Yeah. I've got to fix your car later. Somebody like, just for instance, it could be somebody you just know in the area, like somebody that's sort of maybe retired or
someone
something.
Who just hasn't got much to do.
Yeah, and just
get them in, make them your podcast partner or something, and then just ask them to do little odd jobs.
Yeah, pretty much. See, dry humour. Don't know if he's being serious or not. Right?
I am being serious. It's not a joke.
But like for instance, the property I've got in Wolverhampton. The guy I took the property from, he had a handyman, and his name's Jeff. And like whenever
his name is, write that down, Jeff. Thanks.
His name's Jeff.
Yeah.
And literally, if I need anything doing, I just say, Jeff, can you go and do that?
Why'd you say Jeff? Oh, that's his name.
So I'll ring up, Jeff, can you go and do this? And he was like, yeah, no problem, I'll do it. But he's not quick. It'll take him like 3 days. So, for instance, I had...
To do what? Because that could be quick.
Anything.
It's like, Jeff, can you go and build me a house in 3 days? Something like bang in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bang it up, yeah. Like, but a handyman wouldn't be building a house. So I'm talking about...
You're talking about building a house fast. Right, sorry to interrupt you. I'm sure Jeff doesn't do this. Right, talking about building a house. Right, there's this new Starbucks where we are.
Yeah, I know.
How do they build it so quickly?
Yeah.
It's
all prefab. It's all prefab, isn't it?
But it's like a matter of days.
Yeah.
It's gone from nothing to there's a Starbucks there.
It's all prefab, and it probably wasn't a matter of days. It's just it appeared to be a matter of days. It's probably weeks, but it's all prefabricated.
Well, weeks is still a matter of days.
Yeah, but no,
it is. It's a matter of 21 days.
Right, fine, but it's all prefab. So the building will get brought to them in sections, and they'll just bolt it all together. They don't build it out. Do you know what I mean? It's all prefab. That's how they can do it all quickly. And it's all built in a warehouse before it even comes to the thing, and they just throw it all together. And they have a team. You'll probably find there's 50 people there on site doing it.
I don't care how many. I'm just like, how come it's taken us like a year to refurb Ribersford House? It takes them like 2 weeks to build a whole building. I know Ribersford House is 20,000 square feet and stuff. But
that's why then. And Ribersford House half fallen down, and they're not. If Ribersford House was gone and they had to start again, then it would be a lot farther on by now. At the minute, they're trying to.
I know really why, but I'm just amazed at how fast they can put it up.
Well, yeah,
faster
very
than Jeff,
good.
Anyway,
very good. Well, so
Karen
like, for instance, Slow Jeff, right? I had to order a new fridge for the property, right. And I said to Jeff, look, I've got a fridge getting delivered on Thursday. Can you make sure you're at the property to just take delivery of it? No problem. He charged me £10 just to go and sit in my property all morning, wait for the fridge to get delivered. Same with Wi-Fi. When the Wi-Fi got delivered, got Jeff to do it. So I would always want a Jeff in the area, because it don't, and like.
Does he have to be called Jeff?
He can be whatever he wants to be called, but I call him Jeff because that's his name.
My name is Jeff.
And do you know a good place to find him is on like
Jeff.com.
Jeff.com, Facebook, because you always find sad old lonely men with nothing to do.
Are you on Facebook?
You're on fire today. You're on fire. Right, so you need a Jeff, and your letting agent. Find a good letting agent, and they will have all these people. Maybe not a Jeff, but they'll have all these people. So
they probably will have a Jeff.
Yeah.
Because they use people like Jeff, don't they?
Yeah.
But to be fair, right, your solicitor, your accountant, and your mortgage broker, they can be nation. They don't have to.
Anyway,
they don't have to be in the area. The only ones that need to be in the area, even builder to a degree, doesn't have to be in the area.
No. You want them close by. Like, for instance, I've got builders in builders in Hull, but they'll cover Doncaster, Liverpool. They'll cover all that within like 100 miles. And they'll just go and stay in the house that they're working at. But they won't come down to Bristol, for instance. I've got painters and decorators that are in...
Do you know how builders are much more expensive in certain areas?
Yeah.
For example, in London, it's much more
expensive.
Would you not just pay a Doncaster builder to come down and go, I'll give you £1,000?
Yep.
Travel.
Like, so for instance, my painters and decorators that are in Hull that charge me not a lot of money, they do a phenomenal job, by the way. Don't think just because they're cheap that they're crap.
Didn't he say on the...
No.
Hold on. Last week, and you can quote Nick, could you play...
I can quote
Hold on. Nick, I want you to play this section, right? I want you to play the quotes side by side, if you can, okay? He said last week...
I've always been taught, you pay cheap, you pay twice.
And then you just said... What did you just say now?
I said they're cheap, but what I mean is they're cheaper than the going rate. So, for instance,
which is cheap.
What you just said, like, let's just take London, right? You're not going to get a tradesman for less than £200, £250 a day. And up north, you can get them for £100 a day. They're not doing any better job, but it's just the cost of living and the cost of location. So that's what I mean when they're cheaper. They're cheaper than London. So, like, you're right. So if you've got, like, for instance...
This is Alistair right now. Backtracking.
No. So, for instance, I had a property in Northampton painted, and I got my decorators from Hull to come down and do it. I put them up in a hotel for 4 nights, paid them their going rate, and it was still half... like.
Could you not just let them live in the property?
I'm not like a complete savage.
That's what Better Source do with Ryan and Adam when they're flat packing and stuff.
Do they?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Did they really?
Stay in the property, yeah.
So when we've got people out doing furniture, we just tell them to sleep on the floor. I didn't even know.
They're not sleeping on the floor. It's normally furnished, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
So they make the beds and then they sleep in them.
Oh well, but anyway, like obviously when your painters and decorators are there, the house is empty. There's generally no carpets down. It's quite a cold house because obviously it's very bare. But I get them to go wherever, and I pay them like literally. I pay their fuel costs to go there and back. I give them £20 a day for food, and I put them up in a hotel.
So you don't pay them for their time
and the time, obviously.
But the time. Don't mean the time at all, but the time for travelling. You just cover their fuel.
Just cover their fuel.
And they're happy to do that?
Yes.
Even if it takes them 2 hours to get there, 4-hour round trip.
Yeah, but they go down... So, okay, let me tell you exactly what happened when they come to Northampton.
Go on.
They left Hull Monday morning, came to Northampton. They spent 4 days in Northampton painting this house, went home on a Thursday evening. I paid for 3 nights in the hotel, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Gave them £20 each per person, so there's 3 of them. So £60 extra a day, so 60, 4 days, £60 extra, so it's 240 quid. they charged me for the whole house. They charged me £1,200 to paint the whole house.
How much would that cost? So you had to pay. Let me write this down.
Write it down.
Right. So you paid £1,200 for the job.
So the labour was £1,200.
$240 for the
$240 for
food.
Subsidence.
You put 4 of them up in hotels.
Food and drink.
I know what.
Yeah, but is it subside? It's not it's subsistence.
Subsidence is where the house.
Yeah,
sits.
it's subsidence. yeah, it's fine. Right, fine.
Yep.
$240 for. I gave them £20 for like meals and drinks and stuff. Yeah. And then
hotel. How much did the hotel cost you?
It was like a whole day. And it was like £60, £70, £80
per person.
No, one room, mate. 3 beds.
I thought there were 4 of them. Oh, yeah, 3 of them.
Three of them.
So how much did it cost?
Well,
4 nights.
Let's just say it was £100 a night. I can't remember exactly.
£400.
400. No, 3 nights. Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. They went home Thursday.
Okay, £300.
So £300.
What else?
And then I bought the paint
and fuel.
Yeah, they get like £50 for fuel.
£50 for fuel.
Cover their fuel, so like £50. So
so you spent 1,200.
So you don't need a calculator, mate. That's not hard. You're getting a calculator for 4 numbers.
Well, I was about to, but 1790.
Yeah.
How much would it have cost if you?
Have you gotten the paint in there?
No.
All right. So the paint was $350. So add $350. It's gonna be difficult now. So 1840.
£3.50.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
So it's 2140.
Yeah.
All right. I was quoted $3,000 for that job.
So you say
I was quoted £3,000 by a Northampton builder, a Northampton paint and decorator team, minimum £300, and that's £3,000, and I still had to supply the paint with the £3,000 that I was quoted.
So you saved about 1,210.
Yeah.
Quid.
So with the paint, with the quote I was given by the Northampton builders, that didn't include paint. That included all the filler and all the like caulking.
Okay,
so
in other words, then wherever your area, you're better off going and finding a building team in Hull. And
just paying them to come down, and if they're prepared to do it. So my painters and decorators will go anywhere in the country for me as long as I pay their fuel, hotel, and give them money for food.
That's good.
Yes, I know it is. And I keep getting people on Facebook saying, you can't get that done. Guess what, guys? I do, all the time. Everyone on Facebook say, you can't get a house painted for 1,700 quid. I do.
Because you get those guys in. Then you get that.
Same with plasterers, right? Same with plasterers, man. You get a plasterer from up north to come down, they'll do just as good a job, but they're considerably cheaper.
What's the sweet place? I mean, like is Hull? Would you say is a good area to look for builders?
Up north, anywhere up north, because listen,
Sheffield.
Build teams down south are generally quite busy. So if you want a decent builder, you've generally got a bit of a wait. Okay, so my dad's been in the trades for like 50 years. So and he's always said if you ring a builder up and they're available that week, they're a shit builder. They shouldn't be.
Beep.
Sorry, beep. Sorry. Right? If you ring a builder or a paint and decorator about any tradesman and they can say I'll be there tomorrow or the next day, they're generally probably not that good. Most tradesmen their diaries full for weeks, and maybe they get a cancellation. That's fine, but generally most good tradesmen, they're busy for weeks, so you have to book them in advance. If you've got a builder that says we've got a team that can crack on with that tomorrow, I would be asking questions, and I would be certainly doing reference checks.
What questions would you ask?
I would be wanting to see what their work's like. Because generally, if
that's
they're that
not a question,
good,
though, is it?
No, I'd be asking them what their work's like. Asking them for references, asking them for previous clients, asking them to go and see some previous work. I would be asking.
Would you really go and see previous work, even if they're in Hull?
Well, yeah. If I'm in Hull, I'd send Max. Go and have a look at that house, mate.
All right.
Just you've got to do a bit of DD on these people. There's a lot of hooky builders out there, and the guys I use, I'm not going to give them away, but I'm not going to tell you who they are because then everyone will be calling them, and I want them for me. They do a very good job, and they're very popular, and they're because they're so good and they're so affordable, they're very busy.
Yeah. You can find a lot of them if you go on places like Yale.com and see the ones that have got like no reviews and things like that.
Another place to look is My Builder. Do you know mybuilder.com? It's like an online forum for this sort of stuff.
It's like Jeff.com but for builders rather than handyman.
Yeah. You could
Bob.com.
you could probably find the Jeff.com or Jeff on Jeff.com. You can probably find a Jeff on mybuilder.com.
I'm wondering what Jeff.com actually is now. I mean, like, we're recommending this. It could be a porn site for all we know. Shall I Google it? Jeff.com.
If it's porn, it'll probably be in your saved searches.
I've never been on Jeff.com, I can assure you. Jeff.com is a blog It's not actually that interesting.
I wonder if he's going to get lots of views now. And he's going to think, oh, what's going on?
Is it Jeff with a J or a G?
Oh, I don't know. His name's Jeff. I've got his mobile number. I don't know him that much. I just ring him up and say, hey, it's Alistair from Paget Street. Can you go and look at this house for me?
Oh, okay.
Anyway, right. That's how you find a builder. Do your research. Don't be afraid of asking your builders to travel. My builder, like at the minute, my build team are doing 3 conversions in Liverpool, and they're from Hull. They were cheaper.
So find a good builder, get them to travel.
Yeah.
Accountant can be anywhere. Accountant similar. I would say a lot of these you want to go from recommendations. So networking's a good way of finding them.
Networking events.
Speak to property investors, see who they're using, see if you can get recommendations. So you've got a solicitor, accountant, your builder, mortgage broker, the same.
Mortgage broker again, very very much from recommendations.
Yeah.
And be very strict with them. Tell them what you want up front, and with mortgage broker in particular, cards on the table, face up. Don't bullshit them, because all you're going to do... Don't BS them, because all it's going to do is delay. It's going to delay the process. So if you've got a credit card you're trying to hide from them because you don't want the bank knowing, just tell them everything. Don't lie to them. Don't try and hide anything. Just be completely transparent, completely honest about your finances, your bank statements, everything, and then that way they're going to help you the best.
Yeah.
And it's going to avoid any delays, because I know people that have gone through the process and they've not been 100% transparent with their outgoings, and for instance, and then they've got 2 months into it, and then they've been declined because they sort of told a few pokies about their outgoing to begin with, and it meant the chain fell through, and it's just caused more problems than it's worth.
All right. Letting agent's a bit different. How do you find a good letting agent then?
Again, depends. Single letter HMO. So let's just go HMO. I would be looking for recommendations. Look on spare rooms, see what letting agents are actually renting rooms out, and see what they're listing. Have a look at their listing, see if it's a listing that you would perhaps, if you were looking, would you be drawn to it? Is the listing good? Is it thorough? Is it accurate? Are the photographs good? Is the properties that they're looking after in good condition, or are they all run down? Go in and see them, sit down with them. How helpful are they? Are they answering the phone? When you call them, do they answer the phone? Can you get hold of them by email, by phone, or whatever? Would you
say any tips for keeping these guys? Because obviously this team is quite an important team to you. Any tips on keeping them sweet?
Yeah, bribery. No, I would just listen.
So, for example, like a little tip I think is even if you don't always nail them on price. Because you know what you're like. You know the people that you've got your customers who nail it, and you just like, oh,
you can't bother dealing with them.
No.
So my builder, right? When we call them up, we just say, look, there's the house. You know what we want. Go in and give me a price. We've never haggled that price. Never haggled it. And when he comes back to us and says, look, Alistair, like for instance, prime example, yeah, we had to have a fire door installed between a kitchen and a sort of a hallway. It's got an old traditional slidey door, but they took that off and had to put a fire door, so they had to put a new frame on. Now, when they took the old frame off, it pulled some tiles off the wall. So they can either bodge it all back together, or they can do it properly. And they said to me, look, it's going to cost like 370 quid to do the tiling in the kitchen. Can we have permission to do that? And of course I'm going to give them permission, but don't hassle them. Don't like kick off because they've come back and said, look, they pulled a few tiles off the wall. The tiles were obviously loose. It wasn't. They didn't go in there with a screwdriver and rank them off the wall. They were obviously loose, and they just came off as part of the process of removing the door frame.
Yeah.
So don't be that person that says, well, you quoted this. It's £20 more, so that's it. I'm not paying it. They'll never deal with you again. And to be honest, if you done that to me, I wouldn't even entertain taking your phone calls.
Just treat them with respect, and remember, it's a people business. Is it people business?
So people. You
can always, send them Christmas cards. But if you want to build whatever it is, give them a gift when they do a good job. Here's a bottle of whiskey. For instance,
every like we had a property in Doncaster. My build team done that. The property was completed on time. It went a little bit over budget because there was some things come up, like the tile, and that was a tiling in that house. There was a few other things come up, but they done it as cost effective as possible. And when it finished, I personally went to the property to see it, to sign. Max was there, but I also went to see it and sign it off to have a look at it. And I just took them like crates of beer and things like that, just to thank them for their.
And you can also, if you notice, if they have done stuff to save money, you can thank them, can't you? Yeah. Just go, I really appreciate the way you've done that. You've saved me a bit of money there, and that makes a big difference.
Even let's just say let's just say the final invoice comes in at 7.5 grand and you're happy with that job. What's to say you can't just give them another 500 quid and just bung another 500 quid on top? Just say, look, thanks very much. You've saved us some money, and just
you've come in on budget. I'm going to give you a 200 quid bonus.
Yeah,
and if they don't come in next time, don't give them the bonus.
Exactly. It's all about incentivizing and getting them. So when you phone them, they're like, that's Alistair, he's a good guy. Or that's Russell, he's a good guy. His jokes are rubbish, but he's a good guy. That was funny. All right, okay. But that's what I mean.
The irony there. Did anyone else see the irony? Yeah. Okay, carry on.
That's what I mean. Just you want it so that when you ring, they're picking the phone up and they want to work with you. Otherwise, it's difficult. Power teams are easy, I think.
But if you've got a good power team, on my days, what a difference it makes. It makes everything so easy. So if you can get these 5 people in place, man, you are made.
One tip before we move on with builder, you want to find a builder that has builders working for him. You don't want to be ringing all different trades. So my builder, he does everything.
He does. Trust him. He's project manager there as well.
He's project management. So he does. If it needs plumbing, he's got a plumber. He's got a roofer. He's got a tiler. He's got a window man. He's got a door man. He's got everything. So you don't want to be using all different trades because then it gets very expensive. So like you don't want an individual plumber and an individual gas engineer and all that sort of stuff. One guy that looks after everything. He'll project manage it for you, and he'll look after the.
How do you tell if they're a good builder or a bad builder?
Just look at their work, ask for reviews, look online, Google their name. I would always Google their name personally and business and see if they've got any like outstanding county court judgments, all that sort of stuff for bad building work. Just do some DD, basic due diligence.
I mean, the first thing to make sure he's good at going like this. The first year of builder school is just like
and scratching their gonads. A good builder's bum helps as well. If like that,
you like that, do you?
I don't like that, but it shows they've been around for a while. And if they come in with coffee and donuts,
you heard it here first. Alistair, a good builder's bum always helps.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's now time for this. In the news this week, we're talking about the property market is booming despite Brexit looming.
Good title, isn't it?
It's a great title.
So listen, it's on the Express, the Daily Express, and the heading is, the property market is booming here despite Brexit, figures reveal. So Brexit has led to uncertainty in the property markets, with house prices set to decline even further. However, the demand for houses in certain areas seems to be going up. Where are them areas?
Ooh,
do you have an idea?
I am going to guess Germany.
Nope. The UK.
I know.
Okay, so because obviously UK based. So where about in the UK do you think property prices are going up, irrespective of Brexit?
I don't know. Let's guess by what am I guessing? Like the street, the county, the village,
the name of a city.
Manchester.
Right. Good. No, you're wrong. Right.
Let me guess again then.
Okay.
Crewe.
No.
Doncaster.
No.
Birmingham.
No. You're up, man. If you were like
London.
on a game show, you'd be right out of lives by now.
London.
No. Right. With Brexit looming, house prices are booming. No, with Brexit looming, house prices are predicted to...
What is going on with this section?
I don't know. Listen. So, with Brexit looming, house prices are predicted to decline even further. The uncertainty in the housing market...
Just reading it again. It's like you've just read this. You don't ask me to guess.
I have, actually.
Rather than telling me, you just read it again.
We have to do that bit again.
No, we don't have to do it again.
Right, okay, fine.
We're not cutting you. We're not saving you out of this. This is getting shown. See
what
I have to put up with.
It's fine. Okay, so new research has revealed that certain areas are experiencing an increase in buyers snapping up property
areas?
in the highest level of buyer activity taking place in Glasgow and Edinburgh.
What, in Scotland?
Yep. The latest demand index by Springboks Properties, based on the ratio of homes sold to those for sale across the UK and the nation's most popular towns and cities, showed that buyers' demand has crept up slightly in the second quarter of year one by 1.8%.
So when you say it's booming...
Well, this is their article. It's now 42.3% up over the UK, across the UK.
How much?
42.3.
Across the whole of the UK?
Yes.
So when I said Manchester, I was right then, wasn't I?
No.
Well, You said across the whole of the UK.
So Glasgow and Edinburgh, they're getting
because Glasgow and Edinburgh
42.3% increase.
You just said across the whole of the UK.
Yeah.
Well, it's not then, is it? It's just in Glasgow and Edinburgh.
No, it's across the whole of the UK. So it's not just Glasgow and Edinburgh, is it?
So is it Manchester?
They're snapping properties up. So there's more sales in Glasgow and Edinburgh than anywhere else.
So was I correct with the other places I named?
They're not on here. But Manchester is booming.
So I was correct.
But it's not on here. So this article doesn't mention Manchester. So as far as I'm concerned, you're wrong. But basically what it says, if in Glasgow and Edinburgh, house prices are selling faster than anywhere else. And they're selling for good money as well.
Okay.
So, it's interesting considering Scotland.
Fascinating. Considering what?
Scotland wanted to stay in. They want to stay in the EU. So, the majority of Scotland anyway.
But they're not.
I have no idea, mate. Are we staying in the EU? Are we going to be at Brexit? What's happening with that? I don't know. What's happening with UK? I don't know.
Well, now that we've cleared that up and you all know exactly what we're talking about, it's now time for this. So it's now time for questions and answers. First one on my Instagram from Adrienne, I believe. Hi there, tuning in all the way from Australia. Oh, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Should we do the whole g'day there?
Yeah, you do it. Yeah, go do it. Go on.
Just done it.
Let's do it again.
No, because it's a Scottish accent.
Go on. I want to hear it.
G'day there.
What did that? That's
it says it's like good day, innit? It's what they say, man.
I actually don't think they do.
No, it's just on Neighbours.
Okay.
Alf from Neighbours.
Loving the podcast and can't wait to come back and join the crash course in September. I know you guys have mentioned some areas in the UK which are becoming saturated with HMOs. My question is, do you think that UK property investment in general will become saturated in the near future?
Nope.
Because it's such a brilliant place to invest currently.
No.
Good question.
It's a very good question.
For HMOs, I think we kind of probably hasn't seen it yet, but probably kind of covered it a bit last week, and they are protecting it from becoming oversaturated. No, I think the UK is a great place to invest.
It's phenomenal, and I think it's only going to get more and more and more. It's only going to get better, but obviously they're going to run out of land eventually if they keep building houses. But you're talking thousands of years away. You're not talking any time in our generation.
Great question, thank you.
But that is actually a really good question. So I've got a question here from Brandon Baker. It's on Property Investors with Simon Leeds Group. And it's, hey guys, is there a list or a one direct source you can go to find Article 4 areas which have been covered? Or is it a matter of searching up every council website? Just wondering if there's a more efficient way. We were talking about this last week on last week's episode. Unfortunately, there's not a one-place list. So, Brandon, seems like there's a gap in the market there for you. So, you should create something and then sell it. So, hopefully, you can do something like that. I've got another question from Tamas Trista. Hey guys, I've just read in the comment that it can take months to get your anti-money laundering to set up a sourcing company. My question is, can you sell deals before you're getting your AML or have to wait for it? Once you've set it up, you'll be issued with a number. You cannot trade until you've been given that number. It can take up to 3 months. It took me 6 weeks. But just keep hassling them. I know anti-money laundering registration is taking a little bit longer than before, but you can trade once you get that number. You don't actually have to appear on the register, because sometimes are
you on the register?
Yeah. Sometimes see what I mean about his dry humor. Sometimes. Yeah, but we know what you mean. We know what you mean.
You were compliantly sourcing.
You're talking about other things.
So hold on. You thought I was talking about other things, and you said yes. Okay, it's fine. Carry on.
So when you apply for AML, it might take a couple of weeks, and you get issued a number. What happens is it does take 3 to 6 months to appear on the anti-money laundering register. Once you're on there, then it's public domain, but you can trade without being on the public domain because you are registered if you've got your number. Give them a call, see what they're saying. But that's my understanding of it. Okay, so this is from CJ Brr. Cool, man. Would you recommend doing the buy, refurb, refinance model if you was
What's
doing...
his surname?
BRE.
He definitely should do the Brr strategy.
He should, actually.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, would you do it if you're using a credit card for the refurbishment? So if he's using a credit card to do the refurbishment, would you do it by refurb, refinance? So I'm assuming he's got the money for the deposit, cash, but he's not got the money for any refurb work. And he's planning on using his credit card to pay for the refurb work.
He could do.
It's just using other people's money. It's just being creative.
Yeah, you could do. The good thing about credit cards is you can lump all your credit card debt together, can't you? You can get like a 0%. So you actually can use credit cards as long as you pay it off.
Yeah, well, you did say in brackets, don't worry, I'll be able to pay it off when he gets the money out. So that's fine. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. But so one more question, and this is from Tara Maria. We met her at the crash course in Birmingham Birmingham Motorcycle Museum. I'm sure it was 2 weeks ago.
I only briefly came to that.
Okay, yeah, no, I remember Tara. She actually messaged me several times on Facebook.
Did I speak
afterwards.
on stage that day?
Yes, you spoke at night.
I did.
And then I spoke the second day. And Tara was very complimentary, so thank you. I've been seeing a lot of information flying around regarding mortgage companies putting up their minimum borrowing amounts for limited companies. At the crash course, we looked at houses around the £40,000 to £50,000 mark. Do these changes make these houses unmortgageable? And does this make buying property as a sole trader more appealing? Love the podcast. Keep up the good work. So, what is the minimum mortgage rates?
About 40, isn't it?
It's about 40, yeah. Some mortgage companies are saying it's higher in a limited company. So I know some that are saying 75,000. Again, find a mortgage company that will lend £40,000 on a limited company. That's the simple answer.
It's just about getting a good broker, isn't it?
Just find a good broker.
And then they'll advise you. It might be like, okay, no, for that you might have to do it. It might be better to do it as a sole trader.
But there's some out there that are, they have their own terms and conditions and their own rules to what they work to. But I would find a whole of market independent broker, and I'm sure they'll steer you in the right direction. So have you got any more questions?
Perfect. No, I don't. So guys, thank you ever so much for tuning in. Don't forget, we're back next Saturday at 7 p.m. We would love to see you there. You can check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well if you're watching this on YouTube. And we will see you next week.
See you later, guys.